Yeah, walking dent.
Everyone, welcome to a surprise Level 1 podcast. It's Friday, and I had actually no intentions of doing a podcast this morning, except that a lot's been going on. It's been an eventful week, both in the realm of games, in the realm of my streams, and other things. And, particularly yesterday, I thought was a day that, could have gone better. So I want to talk about that, okay? I've been doing quite a lot of upgrades, setups, and improvements and tweaking and things like that. What you guys don't know is that doing all of that, as much as it's actually, I feel, helped the content, now that we have, more ways to jump between different kinds of games, play them better capacity, etc., it's taking a lot out of me. All right? It's been stressing me out. Adding new things to my setup constantly means more time behind the scenes of trying to get them to work and tweaking with them, and then trying to implement them immediately until, say, the next stream, which can be frustrating. And that's a problem when I'm trying to maintain a work-life balance and I'm in here a ton and I'm not getting to spend enough time with my wife and, family. It's frustrating, okay? And notably recently, there's been some things that, coming up that I knew was going to happen, like today, playing Code Violet. I'm playing it on PS5. Well, I haven't played on my PS5 in months. So I need to hook it up again. I need to get it updated. I need to get it working with my setup, and I haven't, right? Later today, one of the things that we're actually doing is Street Fighter 6. Well, I haven't played Street Fighter 6 in almost a year. I got to download it. I got to tweak it. I got to get it running better. You know what I'm saying? So all this stuff has been weighing down on me, equipment upgrades, tweaking different things, getting different certain games like Call of Duty to play better so I could be more entertaining for you by playing better when I play it. And I'm stressed out, okay? And, all culminates when I put a lot of time or effort or work into something and it just doesn't pan out the way that I had hoped, which is exactly what happened yesterday with the streams that I put out, which we're going to talk about. All right, let's start just talking matter-of-factly about how stuff has been going, particularly this week and over the last month and a half. Let's get everyone caught up on everything, all right? So, for the record, 2025 was a great year for me, all right? It was. 2025 was outstanding. More often than not, I was actually hitting my support goals on my streams, okay? We were doing a variety of games. Things were going pretty good. In fact, I had already explained that 2025 was actually one of, if not my best year of content creation when it comes to the level of engagement and support I was getting for about a decade, okay? So I felt this big positivity and resurgence and everything, and then out of nowhere, I had an interview with Asmongold that just gave me a rocket on my back for about 3 weeks. Now, the thing is, it's not the first time, and likely it won't be the last, where I got a temporary boost from having interaction with other people on the internet. The kind of content that I do usually is not very interactive. It's more me hanging out with my audience, but playing games. It's not me collabing with another creator or doing a co-op playthrough or appearing on a podcast or anything like that. It's more just sitting here and talking with you and hanging out and having a good time discussing games and playing games, right? So when I did this interview with Asmongold, it was a rare thing. And the fact that he gave me his time is a rare thing. And I got a big boost in late November and very early December for about 2 to 3 weeks, where I got way more views than usual. Like, my stream attendance was doubled. Okay, no exaggeration. 9,000 new subs to the channel within a week. Pretty insane, right? In 1 week to get that many, I never get that many. In a month, typically I'll get like 500. And all of a sudden I was getting 9,000 in a week. Support was absolutely overwhelming, okay? It's really awesome how I got all this cool positivity and a whole new group of people were paying attention to me and hanging out with me on my streams, okay? But much like the other times when this has happened, I knew that it was fleeting. I knew that most of those people were not going to stick around. They were there because of Asmongold. They weren't there because of me. They were interested in me and what I do and the content that I make, but they probably weren't going to stick around temporarily or permanently. It was going to be a temporary thing, and then eventually things were going to level out and kind of go back to normal. So I'm happy to say there are quite a few people from that crowd who stuck around. There is still an increase in engagement, particularly. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, people are leaving a lot more comments on my videos. People are liking my streams and videos a lot more than they were previously. And I really appreciate that. You have to understand that even though you don't concretely maybe see it in views or whatever, that engagement helps the channel. I've got tons of people who are coming to me and saying, we're finding your channel in the algorithm. It's suggesting your videos. This is crazy. This hasn't happened in a million years. And now I'm seeing DSP Gaming actually get recommendations and stuff on YouTube. And that's good. That's crazy positive. Okay. And I appreciate that. But I don't think any of us are going to, try to fool ourselves and be like, oh yeah, the Asmongold bump there from the appearance was going to last. Or that most of the people stuck around, that they just haven't. What's happened is in the last couple of weeks, a lot of those people who rushed the channel because I was a guest on with Asmongold, they left and they unsubscribed. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just a natural thing. You get a big influx and then it's gonna peter out eventually. I wasn't going to change all my content on the fly and suddenly become a guy just like Asmongold who daily is covering drama topics and daily news and things like that. That's not who I am. I'm a gamer. That's the core of my content. Now, a lot of you here who are relative newcomers, thank you. And it's good to see you. It's good to see your faces every day when you come by my content and you hang out and we have a good time together. It's good to have a new crowd of fresh faces in here. But also thanks to all of the longtime viewers and fans who have also stuck around and are hanging out and having a good time on a daily basis. Again, you guys are awesome. And I'm really having a great time. I want you to understand that, okay? But what's happened in the last month is I put in a lot of time and effort into using that temporarily bump to do as much as I possibly could while I could before we kind of get back to normal business. And what that means is until we get back to the regular streams, the regular stuff, and I'm trying to improve as much as I possibly can. As you know, I bought a ridiculous amount of new hardware, multiple monitors, arms, microphone improvements, an audio interface, new keyboards, new mice, new everything, right? And it's great. Like my setup is ever improving. I mean, every week I'm adding a few new things, I'm tweaking a few new things, and it's making the content better in the long run. It really is. But at the same time, it's been stressful. All right, it has been. It's been very stressful because I'm trying to basically juggle my regular streams with my real life while also doing all this other stuff in between. And all of it is time. Okay, I just want you to understand, like literally all of it is time investment. Simply just looking for stuff that I need to buy or whatever, to get it in here, to get it working with the setup, to mess around with settings. Oh, does this work? Does that work? You know, it's time consuming. And I'm having a lot of time right now. Like my time crunch is a big problem where I want to get out of here so I can go spend time with my wife and I get stuck. And then, you know, we suffer for it. And that's not fair. That's not fair to my wife because she deserves to spend time with me. And it's not healthy. You need to have a work-life balance. You really do. You know, you have to understand that in life, you know, you have to have that separation. It can't just be all of one thing all the time. And that's why when people ask me, well, Phil, you're a gamer, right? So you must play games when you're off stream. I do not, because I spend so much time in this studio streaming. I don't want my life outside of the studio to be exactly the same thing. It would actually be so permeating to my life that my whole life is games that I get tired of it. So outside of this room, I don't really game. And that's a good thing. That's a good separation that I need. But what's happened is in the last month and a half since the Asmongold interview, there's been a lot of people bringing stuff up. For example, Phil, I noticed you don't really clip your content, right? Like you do a podcast, but you don't have excerpts or segments taken out that are uploaded to your channel. That would really benefit you, Phil, if you did that. Fair enough. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that maybe hiring an editor or something like that, right, to do that for me would probably be a big asset. The problem being, how do I trust anyone? When I have, you know, people who have literally sought employment at an ISP, then use their job at the ISP to log into my modem, shut down my streams, and change the name of my wireless network to be something like Phil is a pedophile, so my neighbors saw it, okay? If they go that far, what's to make us think that I wouldn't hire an editor who would mess with me? You know what I'm saying? I'm giving them access to all of my content, my channel, and all of that. That's an insanely risky venture, and that's also a lot of trust to put into someone, right? And so, you know, I dabbled in, gee, maybe I could do my own clips or whatever, but already, for those who don't know, I do all my own recording, I do all my own, like, stream archiving, I do all the thumbnails myself, it's all me, all right? I will say there is one or two people who behind the scenes help me with a few little things here or there, and I'm very appreciative of that, for people who make me artwork, for people who help me every once in a while with some editing problems and things like that. For the most part, it's all me. So it's not just what you see publicly here on the stream, it's also all the work I'm putting in behind the scenes every day that's very time consuming. And the thing is, I've definitely gotten better, all right, at all of this, that's for sure. Like in the last year, I've actually gotten really good at hammering out quick thumbnails. And I know they're not the best quality, but they're still pretty good to the fact that I have no training or whatever, and I'm just whipping these out on the fly every day right after a stream ends. But I just don't have time to sit here after a stream that's already 5 hours and say, well, now I'm going to spend another hour or two clipping out the highlights, titling them, making thumbnails, putting those on the channel, or getting a second channel and putting the content over there. I feel like if I had that, the Asmongold bump would have been a lot more long-lasting. And you would have had an audience that's used to that formula from him, who would have now jumped into my content, who would have loved it. The problem is I'm a one-man show. I'm not Asmongold who has people working for him, doing this shit for him. I'm not someone who gets 40,000 viewers on a stream, where I'm rolling in dough, and it doesn't matter if I take extra time out to do that shit. I have to be here to make a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. That's my work ethic. That's how I'm successful. So, yeah, it is frustrating when I know I had opportunity in the last month and a half to maybe do things a little differently, and it definitely would have benefited long-term, but I really didn't have the means. And I hope you understand that. It's not that I don't want to change and do more things. I just don't have the time. I'm a one-man show. I always have been. And it's insanely hard for me to be able to try to put trust or anything into someone like that, simply because there's so many people who over the years have messed with me or are right now at this very point looking to mess with me, okay? So, all that going on, all that going down, right? Basically what happened this week is essentially all of that kind of boost that I got from the Asmongold stuff is basically over with. Let's be honest here, okay? There are new viewers who are here. The engagement is actually higher than it used to be, and I appreciate that. I really do. But at the same time, yeah, it was inevitable that it was going to take probably about a month for it to peter out, and it has. Here we are now in about mid-January, and my levels are about back to where they were, which I always knew was going to happen. The good news is, unlike with the whole last arc that happened, this hasn't left a group of toxic people behind. In this case, the Asmongold crowd are a good crowd of gamers who are like-minded with me, who like me and my content. And so those who stuck around are not, oh, we hate Phil. It's the opposite. Like, oh, we actually like Phil, and we're happy that we found him and that he's in the algorithm again. Okay? But, yeah, the boost that I had is gone. And basically now, what's happened is, you know, I'm doing some content and some streams, and it's just not doing as well as I hope. And that's frustrating, and that is disheartening, but at the same time, it's not horrible. It's not like I'm sitting here doing streams with no one showing up and no one, engaging the content and no one supporting it all. That hasn't happened. Okay? What's happened is you get slower streams. And that's okay. Like, that's the natural balance of things. You're not going to have insanely sky-high attendance, engagement, and support everything you do. I know that, being someone of my stature and scale, I'm not a ginormous content creator, okay? But when you put a lot of work into something and it doesn't pan out, it gets frustrating. All right, so notably, yesterday was a day when I was really disappointed with how stuff went, because I feel like I actually put out a really good product yesterday, but no one really noticed. All right, what I mean by that is, yesterday on the first stream, I did the most disappointing games of 2025 countdown, and then I paired that with Pokemon. All right, and I feel like maybe that was a mistake, that maybe I shouldn't have paired those two things together, that they didn't really necessarily work together. And I think that moving forward, what I need to do is, if I'm going to do year-end series, I do year-end series, and if I'm going to do gameplay, I do gameplay. Don't try to combine them, because that's going to become confusing. It's going to split the audience. People are not going to know what's going on when. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. So I didn't do a podcast yesterday, but instead what I did was the countdown of the most disappointing games, which lasted about 90 minutes roughly. I think that countdown was great. I've actually watched back a lot of it, and I was nervous it wasn't going to be a good countdown because I was doing it differently. We were watching clips of the games as I talked, and then I came back over here, swung the mic this way, narrated for a bit, then I swung back and we talked about the next game. In reality, watching it back, I think it looked and sounded great. I'm actually very pleased with how that came out. I hope that you guys who have watched it after the fact are liking it. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't even looked at it overnight because I felt like I put a lot of effort into making that work, and I was hoping that it was going to do good, but the stream didn't do good. For the record, the stream actually performed worse than a normal stream if I had just played Pokemon. All right, and that's really what hit me is, damn, I put a lot of effort into that. I thought about the worst games. I got set all that up ahead of time with the video clips. I thought in my head about what I wanted to say about each game. I set it up so we could transition back and forth smoothly. I tweaked everything for that to work. Did it. Didn't really pay off at all. Most people are basically enjoying it, but the stream actually performed quite poorly compared to a normal Pokemon stream, which is pretty crazy to think that if I just sat here and chilled and just played Pokemon normally, it would have done better than this big event that I put effort and time into. Okay, so number one, that actually is one of the things that frustrated me, but I don't actually blame anyone but myself. I feel like if the problem was I set it up for failure, pairing it with Pokemon, I should have just done one or the other, and that's my fault, I think. And that's something that I learned from, right? That's something that I grow and I improve and I change over time. Now I know, don't be doing these double streams. That's the thing is a lot of streamers do that. They'll do a stream that has 2 or 3 topics, and they jump between a game here or there. It doesn't work for me. For me, it's always been focus on one thing, and it'll work. If I don't, then people get confused, okay? So that's what I'm going to do moving forward. In fact, for the rest of the year-end series, I'm going to do one big stream for the Game of the Year countdown and for the DSP Cries it best of countdown. We're going to do all in one stream so that way no one's confused about the content, okay? Good. Now, that's the thing that, number one, frustrated me yesterday, putting all that effort into the year-end series, into the countdown, and basically didn't do very well at all. The stream actually underperformed versus a normal stream. But then on top of that, recently, I've been putting a lot of effort into Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is I have tried my hardest to improve my setup to try to make Black Ops 7 gameplay viable in my rotation. Previously, I don't feel it was. I tried playing Black Ops 7 when it came out in November, and I sucked at it hard. I was doing absolutely terribly. I told you guys I didn't even know what was going on because previous years I've played Call of Duty and I've been able to do well. Usually mid to high up on the leaderboard when I play, getting great, kill streaks, good kill death ratios, doing all the unlocks and all of that. And it's been a great ride with Call of Duty being a variety kind of a game that I put into my rotation. But for whatever reason this year, I just have sucked at it, right? I haven't done well at all. So I said, it's got to be something I can do because I don't want to give up on the game. I know there's people who like watching me play Call of Duty. So what did I do? I mean, literally, I bought a high-end gaming keyboard that's supposed to be one of the best for competitive FPS. I bought a high-end gaming mouse. I bought new wrist rests that are for competitive gaming. I'm playing on a, high-end OLED monitor. I'm using surround sound now to hear where everyone is when I play. Okay, so I'm doing all of these things to improve the performance. The truth is, it's actually worked. It has. It's actually improving. My gameplay has gotten distinctly better. If you've watched the last couple of Call of Duty streams that I've done, I'm actually doing well. I'm placing on the leaderboards. I'm getting mostly positive kill death ratios. I'm unlocking new weapons and switching between them. I'm actually now doing the challenges again. I'm starting to do the daily and the weekly challenges and unlocking new things. Like last night when I played with the ballistic knife, it was very fun to see this new gadget in action and everything. It's been fun. I had a great time playing Call of Duty last night, despite the fact that I rage, because I always rage playing Call of Duty. I think that's part of the experience of it, right? But I still am having a blast and doing well. But it didn't translate into a successful stream again. Okay? And that's what I mean. When I put the effort in to do all of these improvements, and for the record, again, it is stressful because not only am I listening to feedback and trying to do the stuff that you guys want, right? I'm ordering stuff. I'm setting it up. I'm tweaking it and getting it working. We're doing all these adjustments. I'm jumping between, we're playing a game like this. No, now we have headphones on surround sound. We're playing like this. Now we're jumping back over here. We're playing on a gamepad. Oh, wait, now we're doing this. It's a lot of work. And again, it's hard to obviously how to bring with all the new changes and things that I've implemented. All right. And I know the content is looking better. I know the content is sounding better. Okay. I know all of this. My problem is it's not translating into people showing up, engaging and supporting the content. In fact, it's the opposite. Less people are doing so with Call of Duty particularly. Okay. So on the first stream yesterday, I can say that's on me. I made a miscalculation. I shouldn't have done a year-end series and paired it with Pokemon. I should have just had it separate, but you live and you learn. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I'm just going to move forward and change what I do in the future. With the Call of Duty thing, I just don't know what else I could possibly do at this point. I've done everything I could to improve that experience, and I have improved the gameplay, but it doesn't seem like anyone cares. it's weird because there'll be times when people scream at me and say, we love Call of Duty, please keep it in the rotation. But then when I play it, it just doesn't translate into something that works. We end up with a lot of trolls who are just sitting around crapping on me, crapping on the gameplay, crapping on everything. And they just bring this toxic element. And listen, that's okay as long as it's paired with positivity. But I'm not seeing the positivity. You get people who claim they love this game, they want me to play it. Where are they when I play it? Last night, attendance was average, okay? Engagement was okay. We had some people who were engaged and a lot of trolls. Support was just okay. It certainly was not a great stream. It wasn't a terrible stream. It was kind of middle of the road. But for the amount of effort that I put into it to improve it and make it work, that is actually very disheartening and it crushes me. That's a lot of effort I put into trying to make this game work because people said they wanted it and now it's still not working. So what do? Right now, people in the chat are like, well, the game sucks. Yeah, it's Call of Duty. It pretty much always sucks these days. Can we all kind of like agree on that? Like Call of Duty hasn't been outright good in many years. Okay? They stopped putting effort in a long time ago when it started printing money and they had no competition anymore. They just stopped trying. You know, the game itself has taken out a lot of the things that used to be fun. Strategy doesn't even exist in the game anymore. A lot of it is just to kind of run around, twitchy shooting, abusing things like the auto aim and the aim assist and shit like that. It's bad. But you could still get enjoyment out of it as long as you understand what it is. And you treat it for what it is. It's kind of a fun game. You run around, you have silly fun. You go for a crazy kill streak, shooting, a knife out of your hand and stab someone, and then you summon a stupid drone. You fly around sniping for a while with this drone. You know what I mean? I don't think it's meant to be an ultra serious game for the sweats. Although some people play it like that, I think they're completely wasting their time with it. I just don't think it's that good of a game. But I think it's a game that works for variety for my content. I do. I truly believe that Call of Duty works for variety in my content, and that's why it's frustrating to me when I work hard to try to make it work for the content, because at first it wasn't. And I think we can all agree, you've seen that I did my best to improve as much as I could, and I have improved, but people just aren't clicking with it, right? To have a night where I play all night and I'm doing well, and, we're getting mostly trolling and the support is not great, despite the fact that people claimed they wanted this, and that's why I kept, improving it and trying to play it. Yeah, it's crushing. It's very, see, disappointing isn't really the word, disheartening isn't really the word, maybe like demotivating. Like ever since the Asmongold interview, I've been very motivated to try to do as much as I can to improve as much as I can in a short period of time. My goal is that once the big releases of 2026 start to come out, I'm ready to go. I've improved as much as I possibly could. My setup is absolutely flawless. We're polished, right? We're polishing it. We're good to go. And also my work-life balance is back in order. Everything is fine. We're in a good thing. Nothing's breaking and crashing. Everything's working on a daily basis. I want to be able to play all the big stuff this year and hang out with you guys and have a great time. In addition, I want to be able to adjust on the fly and play smaller games all the time. Whenever you guys tell me there's a new interesting game or thing, I want to be able to jump on it and just try it and play it. And that's a good thing, a change that I think is going to help a lot in 2026. Something that I've never really done before. All right. But yeah, yesterday actually upset me. And I just want to make that known. I don't think it's particularly any one particular thing. It's just a day when I put a lot of work and effort into the whole day. And it had 2 slower streams. Not unsuccessful streams, not bad streams, but slower streams. You would think it would have been the opposite. Oh my God, it's the year-end series. People are going to rally and engage and have a great time. He'll put all this effort into Call of Duty and he's doing all this fun stuff. He's playing the Fallout collab. He's using the ballistic knife. He's going crazy. Didn't translate into success. So that's a problem. And that's something that I want to be able to tackle and fix, but I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that we need to discuss. Like, how can I improve? What could I possibly do? Because it seems like at this point, even when I put in tons of effort, it doesn't necessarily translate into the success that I'm looking for. All right? Does that make sense? All right? And again, I'm not angry. I'm not, oh my God, why on earth didn't you guys come out in droves? Why didn't I double my stream attendance? Why didn't I double my support? That's not what I'm saying. All right? I understand that the short time that was going to happen with the Asmongold interview is gone. But when I'm listening to feedback and things that people are asking me, I want the year-end series. Where are the year-end series? And I start putting them out, and it really doesn't translate into success. Like, damn. When people are saying, we want Call of Duty, get better at Call of Duty because you suck at it, improve the Call of Duty, so I do, and then it doesn't work, it's frustrating. Okay? And that's where I'm coming from today. All right? So now, in addition to all of that going on, right, we've got a lot of other stuff happening. Like for example, I knew that today I was going to be doing some different stuff. I was going to be playing on PS5, and I was going to be playing Street Fighter 6 on PC for the first time in almost a year. So I knew that I had to do all that extra work to get all that working, and I just didn't have time to do it yesterday. With all the effort I put into those 2 streams, I was behind the 8 ball. So last night, my family went to sleep, and I came into this office for almost 2 hours doing work to try to get ready for today. Okay? So the first thing I did is I booted up my PS5 for the first time in like months and months. You see here, I actually got my controller set up and ready to go. I'm trying to find a camera angle to show you. I guess the microphone's in the way. So for today, and I did all the system updates. So this was confusing. I went to get code Violet for today, and it says it's a pre-order. And I'm like, dude, it's like past midnight. How is it a pre-order? Or how could this possibly be a pre-order? It claims it comes out on January 10th in the PlayStation Store. And I'm like, what? So I go online, I'm looking everywhere. Everywhere it literally says comes out on the 9th. And I'm like, why the hell does it say it comes out on January 10th? I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. So I bought it and I installed it, and then you could just play it. So the game actually was mislisted on the PlayStation Store. It's actually live now. You can buy it and play whenever you want, but it says it doesn't come out till tomorrow. No idea. All right. Good news is I got it working. I think now what I can do, and this is something that previously I hadn't been able to do, if I so choose, when I'm playing on PS5, I can now play at 1440p, which I never could do before. I could only do 1080p or 4K because now I'm using this OLED monitor, and this monitor does 1440p. Previously, I was using my TV, and my TV would only do 1080 or 4K. Thing is, I think I'm just going to play at 4K. I don't see a reason not to. You guys will see it either at 1080 or 1440p, depending on where you're watching it. So, I got all that done. So as I was doing that, okay, I realized I had other things I needed to do. For example, while I was doing that update, my PC needed to do Windows Update, and I hadn't done Windows Updates for a bit. I'd actually queued them up and said, oh, I'm going to do them one day, all together. And I was in here last night already. I said, I already got to update this and this. I might as well do the Windows Updates. So I started doing my streaming and capture PC, doing all the Windows Updates. And then I went onto my gaming PC, and I started downloading Street Fighter 6 again. For those who don't know, Street Fighter 6 is a huge download now on PC because, you have nearly 3 seasons of content in there, and it takes a long time to download. So I got that going, and I realized, oh man, I need to tweak Street Fighter 6 for today. I need to make sure that it's running well. I need to make sure that I have the least input delay because, first time I'm playing it in a very long time. So I dusted off the old Victrix Pro, the joystick that I was using for the most time they're using playing Street Fighter 6. I cleaned it off. I got it working with the PC again, which it is. It's working very well, okay? And I downloaded Street Fighter 6. And I tweaked it a bit, and I did some testing. I did testing at 4K, 120 hertz, 1440p, 120 hertz, and 1080p, 1440 hertz. And distinctly testing all three, there's definitely the absolute least amount of input delay on 1080p. In fact, it's weird when you boot the game up, if you tell it to default to the best settings, it gives you 1080p resolution. It's like the game itself knows that if you try to make it look better at higher resolution, it'll definitely look more pretty, but it adds input delay. So I was tweaking and messing with it. I was like, oh, okay, so it's working now, right? This is good. So that, that was excellent, and I got that working. And I actually did a test set online last night. I did, what's it called? Player match, custom match, whatever it's called in Street Fighter 6. It wasn't ranked, but it was one set. I actually was only intending to play a single match, but I played someone, and I accidentally kept rematching by accident. I couldn't figure out, I played it so long, I just kept mashing the button, and it would rematch. So I ended up playing against the person who played Chun-Li, and I was using Lily, and it seemed to go absolutely really well. It was smooth, it was reacting well. I don't think I had any dropped inputs or whatever, and it was a good set, a good match. So it ended up running really good, and I was like, all right, excellent. So I know what I'm doing today. Today I'm going to be playing at 1080p, and very low input delay when we play Street Fighter 6 later today. All right. I'm not even kidding. It took like half an hour to download the game. The game is so huge and bloated now on PC with all the stuff they've added over the last 2.5 years. It took like ages, absolute ages, for this game to actually install and work properly. But it seems to be working fine now. Okay. Now, at the same time I was doing all of that, I was doing the Windows updates. And the thing is, to put this into perspective, I don't think there's been a single time that I've done a Windows update on the capture streaming PC where it hasn't caused a problem. Every single time that I've done a Windows update on the capture and streaming PC, something has gone wrong, and it resulted in me doing excessive amounts of extra work. Okay, so just to go in line with that, I did the Windows updates yesterday, all right, and they ran, it updates, PC boots up, start to use it, webcam won't work. Great. And this actually had happened a year ago. If you remember, a year ago, I'd done exactly the same thing, where I did all these cumulative Windows updates, and the webcam also wouldn't work then either. There's something with the older model of the Instalink webcam that it seems to have issues with Windows periodically. And then I guess what they do is they patch it later and it works again, but then sometimes it won't work again. So I ended up having to do, driver updates, software updates. I ended up having to do so much extra crap. What should have been a simple Windows update be done in 5 minutes. I'm not kidding you, took about an hour to just keep redoing this shit. And even then, this camera, I'll show you which camera I'm talking about. This camera right here, okay, still is not fully updated. Okay, I put all updates in it. It still claims there's updates I didn't do. It says, oh, there's still driver updates you haven't applied to the camera yet. What are you talking about? I literally did all your updates, and it still says it's not done. So there's something weird, okay, in Windows with that particular camera that it just doesn't allow it to fully update right. There's not much I can really do about that. Eventually, what I may do is give up and just buy another one of this one. This is called the InstaLink 2. That one's the original Link. I might just buy another Link 2. That way I have 2 cameras that are fully updated and they're working properly. Because I like that camera, but the thing is just constantly seems to have issues with Windows whenever I do this update. It drives me nuts. I shouldn't have spent like an extra hour of time in here doing that shit last night just because I wanted to fully update everything. Okay? So basically, after a stressful day yesterday of working my butt off to do the year-end series, to improve Call of Duty, having 2 streams that I felt weren't successful because they didn't live up to what I had wanted from them with all the time and effort I put into them. I then came into this office for 2 hours last night, and I had to do all this other stuff behind the scenes. And again, this is the stuff people don't think about. Oh, you're a full-time streamer. You just sit there and you stream games all day. No, I deal with a lot of nonsense. I deal with a lot of updates, a lot of tech stuff, a lot of bullshit. It's very stressful. I should have been asleep. And instead, last night, I was in here for 2 hours, updating the PlayStation, tweaking Street Fighter 6, getting, the capture streaming PC to work, which didn't work. So do the Windows updates, do the camera updates, do this. And it's very frustrating. Okay, it is. It's very, very stressful. All I want to do today, all right, is sit here with all of you, try this Code Violet game, see if it's any good. Play some Street Fighter, have some fun. It's all I want to do. I don't want to sit here and argue and fight with idiots on the internet and mess with dumbasses who are spamming the chats and acting like fools. I don't want to sit here and stress about, are people going to show up and engage and support my fucking streams today? I just don't want to think about any of that. I just want to have a good time with you guys today. Does that make sense? I hope it does. You understand that, like, my brain is always on overdrive, thinking about a million things at once. It's thinking about, what am I working on now? What happens between the streams? What do I got to do tonight? What do I have to do for my day off tomorrow? What do I do, what do I set up for the streams that are going to be on Sunday? Is there anything I have to tell anyone today? Is everything working properly? Do I have to adjust anything here? Do I have to do that? My mind never shuts up. I really wish that there was a point where I could just tell my mind, shut the fuck up, and let me just sit here and relax. Because I actually feel like if I got some real relaxation for once, I'd feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really get to do that, particularly with all the work I've been putting in the last month and a half. It's been like constant stress and work and stress and work and stress and work. But I'm loving the content. Like, let me put it that way. I'm actually loving doing what I'm doing. I like how everything looks better, sounds better. I like that we can do a bigger variety of games. I like that some of the games that I played that weren't doing well, I'm playing better at them. I love all these improvements. Now I just need this to translate into results so I can relax. Okay? That's basically what's going on with me right now. So I hope that you understand that. It's kind of very different from how it used to be. Because it used to just be like me standing here demanding and being very kind of entitled and greedy and saying, gimme, 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 why aren't you giving me? That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to do is express to you what's going through my mind, why I'm kind of stressed out, and why things are going the way that they are. And, trying to figure out what we can do to improve that together. Okay? So would you guys like me to take care of this now? Do you see what I'm saying? That I'm just trying to, like, talk and finish thoughts, and you see what these idiots do in my chat. See, for those watching on demand, you have no idea. There have been, like, it's probably only one person, but it's like 2 or 3 accounts that have been spamming my chats with troll stuff the entire time I've been talking to try to derail it and let me not pay attention to what I'm doing here. So, would you like me to take care of it? Now, we had a mod helping before, but I guess the mod took off. And so because of that, we haven't had a chance to shut these guys up. Would you like me to do that now? Okay, there's 2. You see, this is why I'm not going to freak out about it. It's like, dude, I'm at this point in my life, I'm not going to sit here and freak out about this nonsense, these idiots. If anything, you guys who are normal people have been sitting there watching those guys in the chat, and you know that they're just crazy, right? Like, they're just unhinged lunatics. Letting them actually sit there and talk like that just exposes them for what they are. Because it would be one thing if they said the thing once and then moved on, but they've literally been sitting there for 15, 20 minutes spamming. They don't understand that it's not effective when you do it the 20th, 30th time. See what I mean? People paying me to do this, they don't understand that this has no effect on me. You're paying me. You understand that, right? You're actually paying me money to send me this. It's not effective. Anyway, so now that I've gotten that off my chest, all right, and you understand where I'm coming from and what's going on, all right, what I think we got to do is we got to talk a little bit about the schedule this week and what to do, and we got to talk about the gaming news thing. I want to definitely talk about because that's another thing that we've been talking about recently. Why I'm not covering so much game news on this show, because there really is none. We'll talk about that in a second, okay? But here's the deal, all right? So I put all this time and effort into the disappointing games of the year countdown. All right, I have no clue how it's performing. I haven't looked at it, so I have no clue if it's getting views or not on demand. I hope it is. The stream just did not do that well. The stream, like I said, it actually performed worse than if I just played Pokemon, which is sad to think, okay? So I hope you guys, at the very least, are enjoying the disappointing games countdown on demand, okay? Moving forward, all right, with the year-end series, I'm going to do my Game of the Year awards and the countdown of the best and worst of DSP Tries It in one stream. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a day stream or a night stream as of yet, simply because I don't know. I haven't had time to sit down and work on it yet. I don't know, with the videos I'm going to put together and everything. I don't know how long it'll be, but it's all going to be one stream. Might be a day stream, but maybe it'll be a night stream. We'll see. Okay. But hold on. In regards to this, all right. Oh, that's something that I don't have open here. Hold on. See, I redid everything yesterday and I did not open everything that I wanted to open here. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so the year-end series, the rest of them will be coming up, but not next week. Just to say right now, next week I literally just want to focus on like hanging out and playing games. Next week, that's all I want to do next week. Okay, so next week will be all game focused and all that. Well, likely it'll be either the week after or the last week of January when I will do a dedicated stream for the Game of the Year awards as well as the DSP Tries It countdown. Okay, I'll let you know about that when we get to it. Now, I know some people will complain and be like, well, that takes too long. Well, that's just how it is. I'm a one-man show. All right, I don't have a clone. I don't have a team of people I hire and work with to do stuff for me. I'm doing it all myself. I need time to work on it. I'm already stressed out with how this week went. I want to make sure that this is going to be a good stream. I'll let you know when it's going to be, when I know, which likely, again, probably middle to late January, but not any sooner. It's not going to be this coming week at all, okay? I hope that makes sense. So this person says, researching, planning your 2 daily streams, streaming for several hours, moderating the streams, uploading, editing that content, making the thumbnails, doing the social media. This is a lot of work for a single person to handle. You got to delegate some of your tasks. Contact some people you know and trust and ask for references. Well, number one, contact someone I know and trust. You may not be aware of this, but most people who are in the industry want nothing to do with someone who is harassed as much as I am on the internet. Okay? Are there some people who I talk to who are creators? Yes. they don't want to talk to me about professional contacts and things like that. Most people don't want to touch me with a 10-foot pole. They think if I associate with Darkside Phil, that immediately means I'm going to be doxxed, I'm going to be harassed, all of his trolls are going to come after me. And that's not wrong. So that's the problem that I live with, is in order to find someone who would be willing to help, that person needs to understand that they may now be systematically harassed by a bunch of actually mentally ill people on the internet for literally no good reason. You say, go to Fiverr or go somewhere and pay someone. No one's going to agree to that. They're going to say, wait, you're DSP. The moment that I start editing for you, the moment that I start doing work for you, if anyone finds out I'm doing it, I'm going to get harassed. That's the problem. You see, that's the real problem here. That no one in the industry is going to say, oh, I'll just recommend this editor to you who I work with because they don't want their editor to get harassed. You see, I know that you're, oh, well, that's paranoid. No, I wish it was. It's not. There's people who literally just, have a casual acquaintance with me who have gotten harassed because these people online are insane. It went from, at one point, let's just laugh at Phil being a bad gamer, to let's say Phil is not a bad gamer and doesn't deserve any of the success that he gets on the internet. Then it became, let's take his content and make these insanely long videos to make fun of how bad of a gamer he is. Then it became, let's take all of his other content, his quotes, his things, and let's actually misrepresent him to make him look like a bad person. Then it became, let's actually make him look like a bad person. Then it became, let's monetize videos about making him look like a bad person. And then it became a viral, sick thing to make Darkside Phil look like a villain for personal gain. So now what you have is an entire crazy, mentally challenged mob of people who actually think I'm some kind of a terrible person and that anything they can do to possibly hurt me or anyone around me is validated because they watched some bad videos about me that said I was a bad person. They're that crazy and unhinged, and that's not an exaggeration. That's my reality that I live with every day. That's what I try to tune out and pay no attention to, because in reality, if I just sit here and I stream and make my own content, it doesn't really affect me. When it does affect me is when I do try to reach out and have interactions with other people. Anyone who has an interview with me, anyone who tries to work for me or with me, gets affected by this toxic stuff that I don't have any control over, nor have I created. So I appreciate your $5 tip. I agree with you. It would be great if I could delegate. It would be great if I could find some people I could trust, but few and far between. I've had people over the years who were editors for me who got systematically harassed and had to step down, so I just can't do this anymore. I can't be in this vortex of toxicity because I have my own life and I can't have that be affected. My moderators are some people who've been absolutely harassed constantly for absolutely no reason whatsoever. They do nothing but moderate chat. That's it. But they, get attacked too. Like, for what? So that's what you have to understand. It's easy to say, hey, it's a simple solution. Hire an editor. Find someone you can trust. That's the most hard thing to do. Like, no exaggeration. That's actually the hardest thing I could possibly do. But you wouldn't understand that unless you were actually in this vortex with me to see the crazy stuff that these people do. So, one final thing that I want to talk about here, okay, is news as of recently. Okay, oh, you did? Kaluth just another 500 kicks as he actually sent me the email. Let's see. Oh, it's you. Yeah, because you talked shit yesterday. All right, so if I unban you and you say do it one more time, don't keep asking. Do you understand? Like, that's the whole point. Wait, where do you want kick? Hold on, maybe this is a different person. That was on kick, so this is the other person. Oh, this is a different person. Okay. All right, let me try this.